There's a quiet kind of person who doesn't need Friday night plans to feel alive. They don't crave constant company or fear the sound of silence in their own home. And while the world often mistakes this for loneliness or social anxiety, something far more fascinating is happening beneath the surface. These individuals aren't broken or disconnected, they're wired differently. Their brains process reward, stimulation, and connection through an entirely unique lens, one that science is only beginning to fully understand. You might recognize this in yourself. Maybe you've turned down invitations not out of sadness, but out of genuine disinterest. Maybe you recharge best when no one else is around. Or perhaps you've been told you're too distant, too selective, too comfortable in your own company. If that resonates, you're not imagining it. Your preference for solitude isn't just a personality quirk. It's rooted in how your brain chemistry, neural wiring, and cognitive architecture respond to the world. Let's begin with dopamine, the neurotransmitter tied to motivation and reward. Research in behavioral neuroscience suggests that people who prefer solitude may have lower dopamine reactivity in social contexts. In other words, their brains don't release the same flood of feel-good chemicals during group interactions that more extroverted individuals experience. For them, a quiet evening with a book or a solo walk might trigger deeper satisfaction than a crowded party ever could. This isn't antisocial behavior, it's a difference in how the brain assigns value to experience. Their reward system is calibrated differently, favoring depth over breadth, meaning over stimulation. Then there's the role of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for introspection, self-regulation, and complex thought. People who enjoy solitude often show heightened activity in this region. They're not simply avoiding people, they're engaging in rich internal dialogue, reflection, and creative problem-solving. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as high internal locus of orientation. These individuals derive meaning from within rather than from external validation. They think deeply, process slowly, and find comfort in their own mental landscape. To them, solitude is not empty, it's full. But here's where it gets even more layered. Not all solitude seekers are the same. Some are what psychologists call introverts with low social energy thresholds. Their nervous systems are more sensitive to external stimuli, noise, crowds, fast-paced conversation. According to theories rooted in arousal regulation, their brains reach optimal functioning at lower levels of stimulation. Too much input leads to cognitive overload and emotional exhaustion. So they withdraw not out of fear, but out of biological necessity. Solitude becomes a form of nervous system maintenance. Others fall into a different category altogether. They may not be introverted in the traditional sense. They can be socially skilled, articulate, even charismatic, but they still prefer being alone. These are often individuals high in trait autonomy and self-sufficiency. Attachment theory offers insight here. Some people develop what's called a secure yet independent attachment style. They trust others and form meaningful bonds, but they don't need constant proximity to feel safe. Their emotional stability comes from within, not from reassurance or presence. They love people, but they don't depend on them to feel whole. What unites all of these variations is something profound, a different relationship with the self. Where some people flee from their own thoughts, solitude lovers lean into them. They're comfortable with ambiguity, silence, and the occasional discomfort of self-awareness. Psychologist Anthony Storr once wrote that the capacity to be alone is linked to emotional maturity and creativity. It requires a certain inner richness, a trust that you are enough, even when no one else is watching. And perhaps that's the real insight. Preferring solitude doesn't mean rejecting the world. It means having a world within yourself that's vast enough to explore. It means your brain has learned to find meaning in stillness, beauty in quiet, and strength in your own company. That's not isolation, that's integration. If this felt familiar, you're not alone in being alone. You're simply wired to find peace in places others overlook.